Hey, we are solving limits analytically. We've got the limit of 2x squared minus x minus 3 over x plus 1 as x approaches negative 1. And I'm claiming it's equal to negative 5. So let's look at the procedures here. So I'm going to do the direct substitution, plugging negative 1 directly in where there's an x. And so I do that. And I end up getting 0 over 0. So that tells me that I'm going to probably need to factor the numerator. And I do. And you can see we've got a factor in the top and we've got one in the bottom. They're just alike. So we're going to end up canceling these out and getting a new limit. So now we have the limit of 2x minus 3. As x approaches negative 1, we do the direct substitution. And we get negative 5. And that is what I claimed our limit was equal to. Okay, we've got the limit of the square root of x plus 5 minus the square root of x over x. As x approaches 0, and I'm claiming that this limit does not exist. So we do the direct substitution, plugging 0 in for x, and we get the square root of 5 in the numerator and 0 in the denominator. And of course, when we get 0 in the denominator and a number other than 0 in the numerator, we can say that this limit does not exist. Okay, we've got the limit of the square root of 3 plus x minus the square root of 3 all over x as x approaches 0. And I'm claiming that this is equal to the square root of 3 over 6. We go through and do the direct substitution first, plugging 0 in for x, and we end up with 0 over 0. Unlike the previous problem where we factored the numerator, we can't factor the numerator here. But what we do is a technique called multiplying by the conjugate. And since there's a minus here, we just totally rewrite, except we replace this minus with a plus. So we multiply the numerator by its conjugate, but what we do up in the numerator we must also do down here in the denominator, so you can see I rewrote it. And then we work through the algebra. So I full this out. We have the square root of 3 plus x times the square root of 3 plus x, and that's just going to give me 3 plus x. And then we've got the negative square root of 3 times the square root of 3 plus x. And then we multiply the square root of 3 plus x times the square root of 3. And then the negative square root of 3 times the positive square root of 3, and that just gives us a negative 3. So as you can see, these terms here will cancel out, and the 3's will cancel out, and so we're left with an x up in the numerator. Now we have an x down here in the denominator, so we'll be able to cancel those out too. So now we're left with this new limit. We can't really go any further. And now what we need to do is do the direct substitution. So I go ahead and I plug 0 in for x. We simplify it. So we're left with 2 square roots of 3 in the denominator. Now I'm going to rationalize the denominator by multiplying the denominator by the square root of 3. Okay. I had a disruption there. Anyway, so we canceled out the x's. This is what we were left with. And now you finally do the direct substitution, plugging 0 directly in. Oh, I remember now. Okay, we were rationalizing the denominator. So we're going to multiply the denominator by the square root of 3 and the numerator by the square root of 3. So the square root of 3 times square root of 3 is just 3. and the 2 times 3 is